The end is near. Oh, and there's the opening crack as it overflows to end the season. Oh, yeah.
That was like my best one, too.
That was
Had
good
to
one.
overflow.
Love it. It is time for another episode of Bards and Barrels. I'm Ross, along with me, Brett and Phil, for the ride tonight.
Hey.
And this is our annual season wrap. We're gonna reminisce a little bit about this season, and then we'll talk a little bit about what's coming down the road in the fall for us. And then we're gonna, disappear for 3 months. No, I'm just kidding. We won't completely disappear. But with that said, I should note if over the time where we're not producing, well, shouldn't say we're not producing. Well, we're not dropping podcasts.
Always producing.
Make sure you're following us on Threads and Instagram and YouTube at Bards and Barrels, because we will be posting things there over the summer. As we do them or things pop up, we'll make sure we get out there with all the normal things, just hopping in there. So, guys, I guess the first question I have for you tonight is, as we look back at season 3, which is hard to believe we've done 3 seasons of Bards and Barrels already. What are your feelings about this one? It was short because Phil and I both had new kids.
New party members.
Yep. So that shortened our schedule a little bit. We had everything recorded by September.
Don't give away the secrets,
Well,
Ross.
no. But that's something we should be proud of that, though, because I'm still very impressed that we actually got all of that done before our kids got here. So
Yes, and also weird because there's like this. There's almost like a disconnect every time we get in the studio again.
Oh, hey, we're back.
It's been a while.
Yes, it has been a hot minute. It's like you guys came over tonight. I'm like, I don't know when the last time Phil was here.
Well, yeah, I walked in the
been
room. I'm like,
forever.
what's different?
Brett's been around a few times, but Phil has not been over. But what are your general thoughts about this season? Like, just about the stuff that we covered? Do you think we're still cranking out some solid content?
I think so. I think we've had a lot of fun continuing on with some of our old reliables, but then also mixing it up with some new stuff and getting some fun feedback from some of the listeners.
I think you hit it on the head. I think this year so far, we've gotten more feedback from people actually listening to the podcast and saying, hey, you guys are doing a great job. Like, keep it up, things like that. And it's people that we've heard from before, like Crit Hit the Giant and things like that. But then just like being on Threads and stuff and people coming and checking out the show. It's like, they're like, yeah, these guys are great. Go listen to them and things like that, which I think is fantastic. And it's good for us to know that, people are listening and they like what we're doing, because it's a good motivator, right?
I think it was fun that we got to finally finish up the class reviews just in time that, we're going to have to do updates to all those. With some new
Thank you,
content.
Wizards of the Coast.
But hey, it's all right.
I only got how many comments on the Artificer because people were like, this piece doesn't exist anymore. I'm like, yeah, I know, we recorded that before we ever saw any of the new stuff.
Yep.
Well, I think we mentioned like we didn't know that if the Artificer was going to exist yet, because it wasn't in the core classes. And so I think we mentioned in the episode, we're like, oh, we don't know if this is coming yet. And it was like right before that episode dropped, Wizards announced that the Artificer was going to be in the Eberron book that's coming out.
Yeah.
So it's like,
So, little preview. Stay tuned for 2024 rulebook changes.
Yeah, true.
Right? I feel good about this season, though. I mean, I think the anchor for a lot of what we do is still making the game accessible, like making sure like everything's digestible for people, which is not something that a lot of podcasts do. Like there's a lot of real play podcasts now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of fantastic ones. There's a lot of okay ones. What we're doing is different than what most people are doing, which I think is fantastic.
We tried my favorite beer this season that we've tried on the show so far, the Tezcatlipoca.
That's right.
Ooh, that was a good one.
It was like motor oil, if I remember right.
It was
like coated the glass. It was good. Don't get me wrong.
That's a description of its viscosity. However, it tasted much better than that.
But fittingly, we are also drinking a new pickle beer because we once again tried some pickle
Yes.
beers.
Because why not? There's always got to be pickles at the table.
Damon's favorites.
Not a review, but shout out to the Pickle Rickle by Half Brothers Brewing Company.
We'll tag you in the post. Don't worry. Speaking of the opening crack, though, and Brett mentioned it, but Damon is now a permanent fixture on the opening crack. He was on a couple in season 2, and then when we did season 3, geez, Phil, just making all kinds of noise over here.
Just not used to sitting in this chair. I've been gone for too long, kicking the table. Gosh.
Damon joined the opening crack. I think that is an excellent addition because it's actually somebody who really knows about beer, not just, speaking off the cuff and yeah, it's good beer.
He knows how to make the beer. We just drink the beer.
Brought in an expert officially.
It's a good balance between somebody that can talk beer and guy, because I don't think Damon could care less about the D&D part. He does a good job, but he's just like, I have no idea what I'm talking about, and bless him for trying.
His stories about where to find his beer are always fantastic.
Mhm.
Though, so
You don't
very
need to know
good.
anything about D&D to play D&D.
that's true.
That's a good point.
Just jump in and play.
Also, I think all of our humor bodes very well for those episodes, and it plays really well. But I think that's a good segue into talking about season 4. So season 4 is going to look a little different compared to like how we've been doing things. So we're gonna, as far as the podcast goes, we're gonna stick to a bi-weekly drop. There'll be D&D, and then on the off week of the bi-weekly drop, we'll still be doing opening cracks, but there's going to be fewer of both of those because on the opposite weeks of those, we're going to be dropping something every week. And so it's going to be a podcast, and then it's going to be a YouTube video. So we're going to really do some dives into doing some YouTube videos and posting consistently on that platform. And then we'll go back and forth on the podcast with the D&D stuff, and then we're going to do the opening crack. But the opening crack is going to get a facelift, and I'm really excited for this because we talked about it at the season wrap last year about the bottom of the barrel because we thought this was going to be a bonus thing that we do, and we were going to do 4 like really long things. And instead, we're actually going to beef up the opening cracks and do a bottom of the barrel segment. So like the front half of those will be beer, a little D&D, and then the back half is us going to be talking about nerdy shit.
Whatever we find at the bottom of the barrel.
Exactly. Well, and honestly, I think something that would be really fun to do would be like before we ever do record a single one of those, like put topics in a bowl. And then when we do one, we draw the topic out for the bottom of the barrel. So you're scraping the bottom of the barrel for the topic. And then that's what we talk about. Could be music, could be movies, could be video games, could be anything.
We cannot let Ross have this much control, Phil.
I'm just trying to think of like where to buy like a mini whiskey barrel so we can actually put them in the barrel. So
Okay.
don't ask me. I'm encouraging.
Googling that.
Add
right
that
now.
to our Amazon list.
Anyone knows? Send us one.
That would be fantastic. But I think that'll be a good mix because I think one of the things that we're not necessarily missing, but that we haven't done a whole lot is we don't talk a lot about what influences us.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because like music influences you, movies influence you, video games, everything, books even influence you. And we don't talk enough about that. And the closest we get is during those opening crack episodes where we, veer off into talking about our favorite Christmas movies during the Christmas episode and stuff like that. I think it'd be fun to actually have a segment to where we can sing a song together because we all know it and love it or something, that we randomly find out we all love or something, or we're quoting Major League, which Brett knows all about because we do it when we play Rocket League or something like that. So what are your thoughts on that?
I'm excited for it. I think it'll be fun. It's a different view into the other stuff that we love. So, which I think is always
All
fun.
the other nerd dubs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm so excited for that. YouTube stuff, though, I think that's something that we've dabbled in to this point. We've done a couple videos, which I think have been decent and have done pretty well. We've done a lot of shorts that are mostly just meme type things. I would envision the shorts still kind of staying that fun type of thing to me, just because that's strictly for getting eyeballs on a video that we do. Whereas like the videos themselves are probably going to be like hard hitting something, it could be talking about the new core rule books or stuff like that. So,
yeah, I think that we have some ideas that kind of play into even what we do when we record the podcast, right? Like little insights into different parts of the rules, or like, hey, what are some misconceptions about D&D? Like things like that. Taking a quick look at the rule book, or something that maybe changed in the 24 versus 14. Just small snippets like that we can still share information, just in a different, what's the word?
Medium.
Medium.
Yeah, and we might be able to share visually some extra things that we can't really convey on podcast, because sometimes you just need to be able to see something.
Right. Well, and I think a prime example of that is, Brett, you and I talking about like the artwork in the 2024 Monster Manual.
Yes.
Right? Like that's a one prime for a video, because like I actually did a short on it. How we talk. I mentioned that like the green dragon, like how in the original 2014 book, it's just basically a green dragon standing there. But then like in the new one, it shows the green dragon swimming underneath a boat as it stalks its prey. It's like that's something you really need to see. You can't do it justice just by talking about it, kind of thing. So
yeah, that's true. I think that there's a couple images in the Monster Manual 24. I'm like, not ideal, but most of them are great. There's like one or two. I'm like, no.
Please elaborate. We got time.
We'll flip through later.
Okay.
There are a couple.
Just leave you in suspense.
No.
Okay. I think that's really all I have. What thoughts do you guys have before we get out of here?
We need suggestions for the next great pickle beer. Don't tell Damon.
Not what I thought.
If you're listening to this, don't let Damon know.
It's not where
But
I
we
thought he was
need
going with
another
that.
pickle beer to be able to introduce him to.
I love that. Yes, because yes. But that made me think of something. If you have questions about mechanics, about anything in D&D, even if it's not D&D, send those to us at bardsandbarrels@gmail.com, or you can message us on any of our social media channels, because those could find their way into our mailbag. We've already had some comments from people who said certain things or asked questions on our social media channels that have found their way into our mailbags. And that's going to continue being a part of this show because A, they're fun to do. And if anything, I think I've talked to you guys about this. I would love to do a live mailbag. And then maybe have like Sean, Crit Hit the Giant, come on for a live mailbag with us would be fantastic.
Woo.
And yes, I'm still going to lead that. And you're going to be mildly in the dark.
Buckle up, Sean.
Buckle up, Buttercup. Here we go.
Man, they're gonna see us flipping through the rules if we're live, though. Flipping
Hey,
through the
We're gonna
books.
Phil's gonna be coming in with all the books.
Ross asked the question, and you see the oh shit look on Phil. And
Yeah, it's not gonna be good.
oh, it would be funny though. I think it would be entertaining if nothing else.
That's fair.
Okay. Anything else?
I'm excited.
I want to see what the frightened condition looks like.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's its own short, like a clip from the video. I love that. You made me think of another thing. So when we're talking about videos,
Just one more
keep
thing.
talking.
yeah, you just keep talking about it. It's
Settle
gonna bring
down,
all
Steve
these
Jobs.
things- If only I had his money. We had talked.
Need a turtleneck.
I've seen a few of these videos where people have like laid out a 15 foot by 15 foot grid and like done some explaining of like conditions and things like that. We need to do our own version of that. I know there's some really good ones out there, but I think that there needs to be a Bards and Barrels take on this. And I think it would be fun to do.
I have a fantastic YouTube video suggestion. Let's explain the difference between piercing, slashing, bludgeoning, and we'll just test with like cardboard weapons or
I
something.
love that. Yes, that would be fantastic.
We can show difficult terrain by avoiding piles of coop poop. The old dungeon dog leaving some presents in the yard.
Just wandering around the backyard filming you. Don't step in the poop. Roll dexterity. Oh, man, that would be fantastic. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. I think we've thrown enough ideas out there for
See what
this one.
sticks.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's not like we haven't done that before. But thank you for joining us for this season. That's a wrap on season 3. So thank you for being on this journey with us. You can listen to past episodes of the show anywhere podcasts can be found. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky Social, YouTube, at Bards and Barrels. We'll see you soon.